going to work as intended. So let me make sure it's how it looks on screen. Um, no, that looks good on screen. Okay, cool.
Pretty good.
Yep. All right, awesome. Okay, all right. So we'll wait, as always, just a few minutes for people to come in. Have you had a chance to play the DLC for Remnant yet?
I have not yet. I had to wait until I got like enough money to buy it, and recently I just been working sure my job worked out, so I haven't yet had time to play it.
Yeah, I was trying to reserve it to do on stream, and it got to be one of those situations where I started. I couldn't help myself too much. I ended up wanting to play the survival mode, so I've seen a couple of the bosses and stuff like that. I haven't gotten any of the story spoiled for me, but I've seen a couple of the bosses, and what's I can't remember what that one boss's name is. He's the
The
double shield, like he's got
Oh
like
yeah,
the two shields. Um,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I hate that boss. That boss is a pain
yeah.
in the ass. It's
Same.
a terrible
I've
boss.
seen it. I've never fought it myself, but I've seen it, and I don't want to fight it in the story mode
Yeah, that boss
or survival.
is absolutely horrible because like it gets to a point where I mean, of course, Mario has like every strat for every boss down, but it gets to a point I think
Yeah,
where if he knocks you down once, it doesn't matter your health, it doesn't matter your armor, it doesn't matter your resistances. If he knocks you down once, you lose.
yeah. It
Uh,
pretty much feels like it.
yeah, because he's pretty much relentless. Um, okay, can
Oh,
you?
am I low?
Yeah.
I'll see if we can fix it. Let's see. Get this closer. Should that be better?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Perfect.
Uh, so how's it going, everybody? Death, Dyslexian, Mr. Pig, how are you all doing? Mr. Pig, I don't know why you don't have this. Hang on one second. Hey, Star, what's going on, buddy? Hey, Mr. Pig, talk now if you can, buddy.
These are your fams, your regulars.
Yeah, I don't have fans. I have extended family.
No,
These are.
I said fams. In
Okay. Um,
your family.
yeah. All right. Yeah, buddy. I thought I thought I had given you VIP a while back, but apparently I didn't. So you have VIP now, Mr. Pig. Um,
Hey, good job, Mr. Pig.
so, in death, I cannot fathom that you're talking about me. So,
I think it's this
yeah,
one.
yeah.
It's one of my D&D backgrounds. It's for my barbarian in my D&D campaign.
And I definitely want to talk to
He-
you about D&D here in a second.
Oh yes.
But as we always do, nobody can introduce themselves better than the person who is the guest. So, Llama, I'm gonna let you take it away for a moment and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, I am Skeptic Llama, or Llama as everyone calls me. Nobody calls me Skeptic, unless you're Syax, who calls me Septic, and I accept that too. That is okay with me. I am a variety streamer. I do basically whatever I feel like, with a slight overweight on role-playing games, JRPGs, and retro games if I feel like it. I also do a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, hosting games and playing in games, and also, you know, just having fun, inviting people in to play some and have some fun. And I also do a couple of community days where we just play games together, all of us, even if it's not on stream, because it's chill hanging out with people.
And he has some of the best backgrounds of anybody I've seen, especially with the llamas in the background, llama in the top hat.
I
Um, so what brought you to? We'll go with streaming here in just a second, but what brought you to Twitch originally?
I've been actually streaming on and off on Twitch for a very long time.
Oh,
I
okay.
started off on Twitch as a wee lad of, I don't know, I was like 16 years old or something.
Oh, okay.
I started streaming Dark Souls.
All right.
And then Then I uploaded all of that to YouTube and stopped streaming, deleted everything. So that's all gone now. Uh, then I rejoined a while back. I started playing Minecraft live on stream. Then
Okay.
YouTube got their own streaming platforms, and then I jumped over to YouTube, and now I'm back on Twitch with this channel. So this is my third attempt at Twitch.
So why did you jump from Twitch to YouTube?
I jumped to YouTube because I had a YouTube channel that
Okay.
was bigger than this one. So I used to get more viewers there.
Okay.
So at that point, it wasn't worth it to be on Twitch for me
Okay. Um, and why did you end up deciding to come back to Twitch?
because I quit the YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. um, what?
I uh, I quit the YouTube channel because I got in with a couple of communities that I didn't enjoy staying with.
Hmm.
So I distanced myself from that community and then got over on this one and started afresh with more nice people and chill things.
Okay. Um, and one of the things that's always interesting to me, and this seems to be more and more common the more and more I talk to people, more and more I do the interviews, is there seems to be both a dichotomy and a symbiotic relationship between YouTube, especially, and Twitch, where they're both competitors. From their perspective, they're competitors, but
Mhm.
most people will tell you to take advantage of both platforms. And
Indeed, I used to upload all my gameplay stuff
okay.
onto a separate channel on YouTube. Uh, but then I got bored of editing.
So, what was it about YouTube, in particular, with uh, what is, in your opinion, the biggest differences between Twitch and live streaming and like something like a highlight video for YouTube?
I feel like highlights on Twitch specifically
Hmm.
are more of an archive of things that I want to keep rather than an actual like a YouTube video. Because if I want to post things on YouTube, I want them to be edited. I want them to be more snappy to have that drive. I feel like on Twitch, people are much more used to long form
Hmm.
content that takes hours, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. But if I were to upload, for example, my D&D campaigns onto YouTube, I feel like I'm gonna have to go through and like edit down to get the core part of all the sessions.
Okay. So, do you think that there are also two, while we say that the audiences do kind of intersect, do you also think that it's two different audiences in terms of when people go to the movies? Yes, the movies have certain similarities, but in regards to this over here, Harold is a great critically acclaimed action film as opposed to the Transformers. Um, you know, something that you just want to see talking robots and giant explosions. Do you think that there's two different things that people are looking for when they look for YouTube videos versus Twitch?
I feel like it. From what I feel at least, and from what I've seen, uh, YouTube wants more edited down short term content. They want things to be snappy. They want things that keep their attention and stuff, and that's why they go to YouTube. From what I've discovered at least. Um, whilst other people, the people come to Twitch, they don't necessarily need that snappy content. If they want, they go to like you know something like Fall Guys maybe, which is rather snappy, where there's always something happening, or uh, battle royale games in general, technically. Um,
Do you think that gives you more freedom of what you do as far as games and stuff like that?
I've never actually thought about it. For me, I
Okay.
don't really care. I play what I want to play, and I treat it more as a hangout.
Okay.
Like it's like I invite people over, and we just hang out and play some games, chat, and have some fun. So if they're not interested in the game I'm playing, then that's a okay. If they're interested, then cool. We'll hang out and chat and talk for a while.
And specifically, what types of games are you primarily interested in?
It varies. Right now, I'm playing a bunch of Fall Guys because I'm trying to get the new like this the Rockman helmet because it looks really cool and I want it. But generally, I just play a lot of RPGs. I play a bunch of Remnant, which is actually strange for me because I usually don't play any shooting games at all. that's really not my thing. So that's yeah, that's very out of my scope.
Uh, I normally try to give the guests my full undivided attention, but Amber, thank you so much for the five gifted. I really
I
really
saw it.
appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love, buddy. I think one of the interesting things is I always first of all I always love when people like RPGs because I really really do believe more and more. I don't want to be uh, fatalistic or pessimistic and say that it's a dying genre, but it really does feel like the more and more we get further along in the progression of big AAA games and stuff like that, what you would consider RPGs, for instance, I know everybody's excited about Cyberpunk. I'm one of them. I'm super excited about Cyberpunk. But it's an action RPG. It's not
Yep.
a turn-based, uh, based off the D&D stat. Like for instance, KOTOR. KOTOR is literally D&D, and the
In
stat.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so we're moving more and more along towards action RPG as opposed to traditional, um, what you would call, now I completely forget the turn-based RPG.
Turn-based
Um,
RPG. Yes.
do you? Oh, go ahead.
Definitely. I see the same shift a lot, and I used to be a big part of the real time strategy genre. That's completely gone now. There's almost no games within that genre anymore.
Right.
But I do see that shift because people are. I feel like people are being trained to expect more action, expect things to always happen, and this isn't just games either. This is also in the movies. If you look at a blockbuster nowadays, they always have really snappy editing. You can barely find any action movie nowadays that stays on a shot for more than 4 seconds. That doesn't exist. That doesn't happen
Right.
because we're so used to everything changing all the time. We're used to I use the analogy sometimes when I talk about it. We're
Hmm.
basically kids waiting for a rattling thing in front of us, and it has to change. It has to do something.
Right.
If it
The
doesn't, we're not interested.
the keys,
But
the shaking keys.
yeah, the kids, yeah. I actually seen this in role playing games, like tabletop role playing games too. Because
Mm.
I'm a very big traditionalist. I love Pathfinder. I love uh, D&D 3.5, the old ones, where you had to learn a bunch of rules. It takes a little bit of time. There's a lot of stuff to go into. Lots of character optimization, customization, all that stuff. I very very much love that. But I see that uh, there's been a resurgence into the tabletop RPG game, and that's all because of fifth edition, which is much more streamlined and much more action based. There's not a lot of things you need to learn. You just need to get in, start playing, do the monsters, and roleplay and have fun.
I think it's a double-edged sword because I think in a lot of ways that streamlining things is a great and I'm sorry if this offends anybody. I'm sorry if I lose any followers, viewers over this, but it's like I always said about the Harry Potter series. And I know that J.K. Rowling said some very controversial things that I and 99% of people I know don't agree with. But with that being said, ignoring her own personal biases for a moment, when Harry Potter was at its apex of popularity, um, I always told people that I love that you love the series, but do yourself a favor and go read other fantasy books. Go read
Mhm.
uh, Lord of the Rings. You know, go read anything by here. Let's just pick Patrick Rothfuss. Let's see who else. Go read the Witcher series. Go read Terry Brooks. Go read Richard Adams. Go read.
Mhm.
Do yourself a favor. Um, and branch out because Harry Potter, it might be a well-written book, artist opinions aside, it might be a well-written book, but it's not the magnum opus of the fantasy series in any way, shape, or form. And I think most people that read fantasy on a general basis would agree with that. And so I do appreciate things that are streamlined because Harry Potter brought, especially kids, it brought kids back into reading. I mean, kids were finishing these 300-page books in a weekend. So it brought them into reading, which I really appreciate. But the other side of that is, after I finished up my college degree, the year after I finished up, they took Shakespeare out as a requirement reading for having a literature degree. Okay, so because people can't understand Shakespeare, I mean, we're in college, assholes.
It changes. It changes the expectation, as I said.
Yeah.
Uh, things things have to go more snappy going forward, and I don't know. I feel like we lose some of that joy of long form content via it. I actually started up a game. I'm sober. I'm sober today, not tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Don't worry. After tomorrow, I'm not sober anymore because that's when I get my job promotion. We'll go over that later. Um, so I had a point. Where was I? You threw me off, Moon.
We were talking
Oh
about
yeah,
streamlining in
yeah.
the parallels.
I started up a game that I played a couple of days ago called The Longing, which is a game that
Hmm.
takes the if you know the idle game genre for mobiles and stuff, it takes that and pushes it to the edge, like to the maximum extreme, where everything in the game can take upwards of a month to do.
Oh, really?
And the game itself has a um, timeline of 400 days.
Okay.
Um, so the character you play moves extremely slowly, like really slowly. Everything you do takes an extreme amount of time, and the game itself really has no other point than your goal is to wait until the king that you're supposed to protect wakes up. So you're supposed to pass the time while you wait for that to happen, and it's all based around just waiting, the joy of waiting for something to happen. So it has the ability to just you can go into your own home, you can sit there and read Moby Dick the entire book, and you can go around playing a little bit of music, and you can turn on some water so you can have a sound in your place, and it's all about like just improving your little home until you wait enough time for your king to awaken again.
What's
It's
inter-
very interesting.
What's interesting too is that you know, I think you and I coincide on this. I don't agree with companies that think that, we have to move towards a more fast-paced, action-oriented, because what was one of the most popular games of the last 10 years, especially with a younger demographic? Minecraft. And Minecraft,
Yep.
I'm sorry, like, yes, it's cool, it's awesome, some stuff that you could build, but some of those projects, I can't fathom that they take less than 5, 6 months to build from some of the stuff that I've seen. Maybe some take years to build, okay? I've seen people uh, recreate friggin' Lordaeron from Lord of the Rings, or
Yeah.
or not Lord of the Rings. What's Lordaeron from? Lordaeron's from Dark Souls, right?
World of Warcraft.
Was it World of Warcraft? Sorry.
That's World of Warcraft. It's the human capital city.
Hang on one second. What am I thinking of? It's been forever since uh,
Technically, it's undead capital city now, but it used to be human capital city.
uh, okay. I'm gonna try to look this up while I. What was the Minas? What was the underground door city? I saw that.
Ethel?
Oh yes. Okay.
Minas
Yeah.
Tirith?
It was no. It was what was the first one? Minas Tirith. Is that it? How you say
Mm-hmm.
it? Okay. Um,
Minas Tirith and Minas Ethel.
it was Minas Tirith. I remember because my friend showed it to me.
That's the one in the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And it was amazing what people did. I mean, somebody built New York with the Daily Bugle and all that stuff. It was
Yep.
always kind of uh, it was just awesome what people have done, but that stuff takes patience, and so
Oh yeah.
I disagree um, when people say uh, that we have to move towards more action paced. And my biggest pet peeve, I'm sorry if anybody else likes them, biggest pet peeve in gaming, quick time events. You know,
Mmm.
I do not
Delicious.
do what?
Delicious.
Yeah,
Gotta press buttons fast. Oh.
yeah, all the cool stuff that could have been done by me is now being done by the character, so long as I
Yep.
press a button at the right time. I mean, now it
Mhm.
what's so funny is, and I grew up with those games because those games were in the arcade. A famous one was Dragon's Lair, and
Yes.
and those were all QuickTime event games. Dragon's Lair was one. Trying to remember uh, some of the other ones. Sega CD had a ton of them. Um,
Never played any Sega CD, so
well,
I wouldn't know.
I
I know
was,
one of Gamelon was kind of like that, wasn't it?
yeah, I was blessed to have older brothers, so they had all this stuff and I didn't. As I've said before,
Lucky.
I was the, well, I was sort of, I was the little brother that they didn't plug the controller in, and I'm sitting there like, and I'm not even playing, but I didn't know. Uh,
I did that with my sister a couple times. She figured out though, and then she got angry at me.
so I'll never forget. I think you might have heard me tell a story before, but we used to go to arcades and stuff, and arcades would have, especially, so you take like a Super Mario in the arcade, it would have the
Hmm.
preview of the first level running through the first level, um, before you actually played the game. And then if you put in a token, then you were actually playing. But that first level would just replay over and over and over again. And
You used to
I,
stare at it, didn't you?
yeah, I thought I was playing the
Yep.
replay, and then eventually my the youngest stepbrother, who was the one I was closest with, he said, that takes tokens, and my parents were like so pissed. They're like, we could have gone another 2 years with this, you know?
World shattered.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Well, my world was shattered, and their world was shattered because now it cost them more money. Because they're like, we could have kept
Yep.
this racket going for another 2 years. He would have never known.
Yep.
Um,
I actually used to at one of my local stores. They used to have these game consoles set up with a screen, so you could preview them. My mother worked at one of them, so I used to come with her to work and just stand there and play for like hours on the trial one.
I used
It was great.
I used to lose my mind though when I was older because people would. Now, thankfully, I didn't work at a store in the mall. I worked at a store in uh, a mall, or outlet center, so it was a little bit better. But people would in the mall at GameStop close to where I work, people would drop their kids off and shop around the mall while their kids were playing like the little preview console games, and we're like,
Yep.
well, this is not an arcade. Um, so
This is the kids park now. They
yeah,
did that where else I worked at the local toy shop.
hmm
They used to drop their kids up there, go shop in the mall,
yeah,
and then they came back and picked up the kids.
yeah. I was like, I don't, I was like, I don't know what you think this is, but it's not what you think this is, you know. So how's it going, Ruby? How's it
Play
going, buddy?
pen.
Um, but getting back on track a little bit. What was the first RPG that you started with?
On my channel or in general?
In general, in general.
The first RPG I ever played is one called Grandia. It's a
Yes,
JRPG for
yes.
the PlayStation 1 era. It is great. It is my favorite game. Well,
Grandia
favorite RPG.
Grandia. Now, see, for me, Grandia 2 is the best one. Grandia 2 is one
I
of my
have both.
oh yeah, Grandia 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I
Actually,
absolutely.
damn it, I don't have it there. I have collector's editions of Grandia 1. Lots of them.
Oh, okay. I think, um, if I remember correctly, let me look up, make sure I have the name right. The first one that I ever played that was wholly my own, that I didn't, pun intended, because you'll hear the name of it in a second, that wasn't one of my brothers or something, was Shining the Holy Ark. It was one of the Shining series, um, and it was for the Sega Saturn. And it was also one of those old school where it was like first person. So as you moved around through areas, it was like first person, even though you had three separate characters. It was still a first person point of view, and
Cool, cool.
it was I don't know, it was a really really good game, and I'd love to get an emulator so I can just to play some of these games on stream. Sega's owned by Nintendo now. They're not making money off this. If I Unless,
They're very strict on their emulation. Just keep that in mind.
all right, all right. Nintendo come out with a remake. Um,
Yeah, I got a cease and desist from Nintendo while I was doing my YouTubing. I
really?
did a couple of emulator runs, and they sent me a cease and desist. And I contacted them. I was like, no, no, no. Actually, guess what? I have the actual console, and I have the actual game. I have the rights to play this game. So you cease and you desist. They didn't. They didn't agree. So I
Did
had to take the videos down.
oh dang it. Um, yeah, it's big corporations. Um,
Mm,
yeah, I don't know. RPGs for me, I think in particular was because I started out reading a lot of Greek mythology when I was a kid,
mm,
and so fantasy was always kind of a special area of interest for me. But as time went on, I really really got into like the Final Fantasy series, and
mm.
I've said before, and I'll say it till the end of time. Chrono Trigger is my favorite RPG of all time. Um,
Actually, speaking about Grandias is where we were on the topic, just so I
mhm.
can wrap that one a little bit up. I used to play it on the PlayStation 1. I was young, like very young. I didn't even know English properly. So I usually had to have my dad read everything I did. So it was like, this guy says something. Hey, dad, what is he saying? I kept doing that, and then he got bored. I got out of the first area because there's the first area you have to pick up the little things.
Mhm.
It took me 3 times to play to even get out of the first area because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do because I had no clue what to do in the game. Now when I got out of the area, I always told my dad that do not turn it off because I didn't have a memory card. I couldn't
Yeah.
save, so I had to play through the entire game, no saves. And then when he turned it off, or if we had like a power outage or anything, oh, I was so angry every time.
We before we actually had a PlayStation, we would rent one from the local video store, and of
Mm,
course it doesn't come with a memory card. And we would get Final Fantasy VII, which back before people would speedrun it in 5 hours was an 80 to 100 hour game, and we would try to play it, but we didn't have a memory card, so we were kind of in the same situation, and my mom went downstairs and turned it off. I think we had just beaten the first incarnation of Genova, and she went downstairs and turned it off. So we were like already like 15 hours into the game, and she was like, she's like, you don't want to leave your games running. We were like, no, we were leaving it running for a reason.
I
So,
actually, um, I actually really want to do a speed run
mhm.
of the Grandia series. Specifically, I want to speed run Grandia 1 on 100%. It currently has a world record of a little bit over 100 hours. That's the speed run.
Really,
It involves 2 sleeps.
really,
Yep.
100 hours.
So
Whole
I want to play that one. That sounds fun.
Holy crap. So how would that work? Would you go until you were tired, save it, go
Yep.
to bed?
And then you sleep on camera, so you have the stream running, and the recording running while you're sleeping. You wake up and you get on and you keep playing.
Wow. Okay. If you did,
It's oof,
if you didn't sleep, which don't do that. If you didn't sleep, how long would it be?
uh, I
78 hours?
believe, yeah, I think 60 to 80 hours roughly. If you're the fastest you can be, I think the record could be like 60, 70, 60 hours, somewhere in there.
That's hilarious because it sounds to me like the strats for the speed run would be more involved of power napping than
Mm.
actually falling asleep.
I actually have a really good advantage there because of my ADHD. I sleep very short periods, so
Mhm.
I only sleep like maybe 4 to 6 hours. So doing 4 hours sleeps for me is no problem at all. So I have the advantage of having 2 less hours of sleep every time we take a nap.
Damn it. That's hilarious.
I have bodily advantage when it comes to speed running.
I'm just built different. Oh,
I'm built for speed.
All of a sudden in the background, gotta go faster, faster. um, I yeah, I personally love speed runs. Do you enjoy them as well, or is this just kind
I
of a
used
personal?
to do a lot of speedrunning
Oh, okay.
actually. I have at the moment, I think I lost a couple of them. I used to have 47 world records. I
Really?
think I lost like three of them, so I think I'm down to 44.
What are the world records? Some of them.
I have three world records in a game called Sundered, which is a game by Thunder Lotus Gaming, a really cool game, like eldritch horror platforming roguelike
What's it
kind of
called
deal.
again?
Sundered.
Sundered. Okay. Was it a PC game or?
Uh, PC, I think it's on PC,
Oh,
on
found it. Okay.
PlayStation, and Xbox, and a bunch of other ones. I think it's on Switch too now.
Oh, okay. Steam.
Very cool. I
Metroidvania.
used to have Metroidvania, yeah.
Okay.
So I used to have I had I have the world record for the alpha, the beta, the second beta, and I had the world record for the full release, but that one's been improved many times now. Uh, I also play and have records in a game called Miles and Kilo, which is kind of like a I usually comment it as a like a Mario game kinda.
Mhm.
Um, but you get to throw things. So imagine Mario with permanent fire power up
Okay.
and a one hit KO. It's all about speed. It's all about getting from left side to right side of the screen as fast as possible, and it's very well designed. So if you do it correctly, it's just one continuous motion, one continuous run. Like you don't have to ever stop. You can hold right the entire time as long as you know how to react to everything that goes on.
Yeah, a lot of games. I remember the old. Well, speaking of Metroidvania, a lot of the old Castlevania games, especially the
Mm.
very first Ninja Gaiden. Um, you can tell, or I shouldn't say, just anybody could tell. But I mean, if you practice the speed runs, and like the pro speedrunners who do those types of games, they know based on the frames that are coming up what is going to be appearing on the right side before it even appears.
Yep.
And it's really, really awesome. This Thunder game looks. I'm gonna put this down on my list of games to get
Oh,
because it.
it's a blast. I used to be I was part of the beta testing
Mm-hmm.
and the alpha testing. So I had I had direct communication with the developers during the entire thing, and I found a whole lot of bugs that I knew would be really cool for speedrunning. And I told them that if this does not break the game, please do not fix this bug because I know speedrunners would love to abuse this to go fast.
It looks, yeah, it looks really good. Okay, that's definitely gonna be. That's definitely gonna be. Oh, okay. Um, they got it. They
One of
got
the
it.
ones I found that I know is currently in the world record attempt. Actually, I
Mm-hmm.
think there's two of them are currently in there. There's one called the shot boost, which I found and reported. It is basically you have a cannon and you shoot the cannon, and while you shoot the cannon, you roll backwards because it's a giant ass cannon. It has a lot of recoil. But if you while you roll backwards and shoot that one, if you then do a dodge roll backwards the same direction, you get a massive speed boost. And if you do that off a ledge, you can get a speed boost that takes you all across one of the main chasms in the game, and it's really fast. Another one was Infinite Fly, which I also discovered very early. Uh, and that one I also reported and said, if this doesn't break the game again, just keep it in. I know speedrunners will use it, and that one's used three times in the main in the world record attempt.
What? How does that one work?
It basically is you when you jump up, you have like a little up air attack. Now, if you do that up air attack, you can also do a neutral attack, which keeps you in momentum. You then lean against a wall or lean against something that resets your hitbox. You do another up air and then neutral air against the wall, and you keep doing that, and you climb relatively fast upwards,
That sounds
which
like
allows you to skip.
Super Meat
And
Boy.
that allows, yeah, it kind of does. It allows you to skip 75% of section B. So there's four sections, and section B or section two, you can skip 75% of it by just climbing up the wall.
That's awesome. I absolutely love speedruns, and one of the games that I would love to speed run. I'd like to do Remnant at some point, but once again, I think Mario has that covered. So
I think so.
it'd be him and I competing. Um, but one of the games that I would love to speed run is Grim Fandango, like
Mm.
the point and click games, because some of those are
Yeah.
like hilariously fun.
Oh, be very careful with the point and click ones because if you can skip the cutscenes, they can be really, really fast.
Oh, okay. And I'm
Uh,
not.
there's uh, there's one. I don't know if you know the putt games.
Which ones?
This is with this, the putt games. It's like kids games with this little car
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
that drives around. They are some of the hottest speedruns you'll ever see because you can skip every single animation in it by and just clicking again. So all it is about is literally just clicking the correct position on the screen over and over and over again, and people go through them in like a matter of like minutes. So you solve the entire puzzle in like 1.5 minutes. It's super fast. They're amazing to watch.
One of the ones that I want to speed run is Superman 64. No.
Oh no, 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 no,
The
no.
most infamously terrible games of all time. Um, do you watch the Awesome Games Done Quick
Yeah,
segments?
I do.
Okay, okay.
I use it to see find games that I think would be cool to speedrun myself because there's a lot of games that I never heard about and they might look cool. Um, there was actually one that I picked up from Awesome Games Done Quick. It's called what's the name? Cat Lateral Damage. It's basically
Hmm.
a game where you play as a cat, and your goal is just push as many things as you can
That's
off the
awesome.
shelf. And it's such a great it's just a great game. I ended up actually finding out a tech that allowed the current world record holder to um, uh, to take the new record. While I was
That's
playing it, I
awesome.
was just messing around, grabbing up things and carrying things with me. And I found that if you pick up one of these smallest pillows, like a green pillow, you can literally carry it through the entire place, and everything will just fly because it has a massive pushback without being a big hitbox. So you get through everything by just pushing, and it's used by the current world record holder.
That's awesome. Um, you should definitely, if you there's some YouTube videos or stuff, you should definitely link them in the Discord. Um, of some stuff that
I can see what I can find.
because I'd like to see some of these. Um, with so do you have any you said Grandia, but do you have
Yes.
any speed runs currently lined up, or are you more still in like the brainstorming process, just kind of thinking about them?
In the process right now, I'm not currently doing any speedruns, but I have a lot of them that I would like to try going forward. I'm linking the putt one. This one's 46 or
Oh,
48. Oh shit! I
uh,
got
yeah,
I
yeah.
got hit.
Hang on. Hang on. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, this is putt in 48 seconds. It's great. Oh, okay, it's identical. I will wait.
Nightbot.
I'm not allowed to pause it yet.
Nightbot's such a troll. Okay, well,
Mhm.
while we're waiting for that, let's talk about two of the things that you part of your main interest. So D&D and Pathfinder. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm a complete noob when it comes to both of them. I had friends that loved Pathfinder and didn't like D&D. I have friends that love D&D and didn't like Pathfinder. Can you explain to the noobs in the audience
Mhm.
what is D&D and what is Pathfinder?
Okay. So I will start with D&D because that's the one most people have heard about. D&D stands for Dungeons and Dragons, which is a it's one of the oldest role-playing systems we have.
Mhm.
It came out a long, long time ago, created by someone called Gygax. Uh, but he worked with a couple other people, but that's the one. That's the name that everyone remembers. He is really, really cool. But he made a lot of cool systems and made it like a system for role playing because he used to do just role play with his friends where they played characters and they did stuff, and he wanted to gamify it. So he made an actual rule set for how you play it. Now that has progressed forward for a long time. It went from D&D to D&D to D&D first edition to D&D extra edition, was it D&D advanced, D&D 2, and so forth and so forth. One of the most famous ones they have is D&D 3.5, which is D&D third edition with all the extra material put into it. So it's D&D 3 with a bunch of extra books and a bunch of extra rule sets and monsters and all that stuff. Now, Pathfinder, Paizo, the people who made Pathfinder, they saw 3.5 and they found out a way to streamline it and make it cooler, in my opinion, make it more balanced. So they took a baseline in that game in 3.5 and they made their own rule set based in it.
Hmm.
And then they published the entire thing to the net. So it's all free to use on the net, so you can use it whenever you want. You don't need to buy a single book to use it.
Okay.
Um, Now that's Pathfinder. D&D, however, they progressed forward from that. So they went onwards to make D&D fourth edition, which nobody talks about because it was hated by everyone. And then fifth edition, which is the newest one, which is their most successful one yet. Because they went super difficult, super complicated with the fourth edition, and then they realized that complicated was not what people wanted, so they simplified everything down a lot and made it accessible for everyone, whether you have played before or not. Pathfinder, however, kept the old 3.5 rules, where they stuck to it being complicated, there being a lot of rules, a lot of things to learn, a lot of customization, and that kind of stuff. So this right now we have this trifecta of role playing systems where you have D&D, the very accessible, very welcoming scene, Pathfinder, which is the much more advanced, and we also have Call of Cthulhu, which is a whole other beast, which I've never played and I can't give you much information about.
Really? All right. Well, that one, anything um, that is Lovecraftian is interesting to me.
Call
And
of Cthulhu is really cool, but I've never played and gotten to play an actual game of it, so I couldn't give you much information on how it works.
well, that's okay. Um, I had friends that really liked Pathfinder because they said that there were like more sci-fi elements to it. Uh,
Yeah, there's a version of Pathfinder with the same kind of rule set called Starfinder
okay,
that happens all in space.
that might have been what they were. That might have been what they were um,
Mhm.
talking about. And then I had one group of friends who made for those of you that are into anime, they made a One Piece simulation with D&D. Um,
Yep.
and I don't know, D&D just always fascinated me. But actually, what really fascinated me about D&D was that the creator of it pulled a lot of his information. This is my literature background that I can add. He pulled a lot of his information from a writer named Jack Vance. Now, if you're not familiar with who Jack Vance is, um, Jack Vance is without a doubt one of the most influential. He is the fantasy writer's fantasy writer. He is the godfather of most modern day fantasy that you would think of. Some of the things that he heavily influenced: wizards needing to forget a spell before they learn a new one. That came
Mm.
from Jack Vance. Um, Another thing is, if anybody has ever seen Guillermo del Toro's movie, The Mimic, the creatures in that are in Jack Vance. Those creatures are verbatim in a Jack Vance, one of his sci-fi books, The Demon Princes. And he just has so many different influences that he kind of culminated together, and then people kind of started to read his stuff. But that's what really got me into that, was reading some Jack Vance. Now, with that being said, two things about Jack Vance if you love fantasy. One, his books are really damn hard to find. Um, a lot of them are not reprinted anymore, but they're really, really hard to find. If you do find them, definitely pick them up if you like fantasy at all. Second thing you have to understand too is um, Jack Vance. A lot of his writing is the world building he does is phenomenal. His dialogue is some of the most archaic. Like if this was an antiquated writing, you will find. You like analogies. If you were to go to a flea market, that part in the way back that like is got like a path of dust you have to walk through to find the thing in the very back that's locked in a chest somewhere. That's his dialogue, okay? So don't don't expect any Cormac McCarthy levels of intriguing dialogue in character development. Um,
Cool, cool.
but if for the world building alone, it's amazing. But that's kind of what like actually got me interested was reading some Jack Vance, and then finding out that it was related to D&D. Um,
Mm.
so what was the
So
oh, go ahead.
you talked about. I just wanted to bring this up since we were on the topic. You talked about someone making a One Piece D&D version.
Hmm.
I tried something similar. Bringing back, harking back to what I used to do, my original roots. I've always held firm that Grandia, the game, never got the popularity it deserved, especially
I
here
would
in
agree with
Europe.
that.
So I ended up making a version of Pathfinder where I mixed the rules of Pathfinder with the combat mechanics of Grandia. So the action point system that you have in Grandia, the way you level up your skill with swords, axes, and maces and stuff, instead of leveling up your character, that kind of stuff. I mixed that in with Pathfinder itself and created what I call Grandfinder, which is a tabletop role playing system based in the Grandia universe with the Grandia rule sets.
See, that's what's so cool to me about D&D is the versatility of it. Now, would you recommend for somebody getting started? Would you recommend going with more of the, as you said, streamlined editions and then working their way into the other more complicated editions?
I've been working with the library a bunch. I used to run three campaigns in my local town, two of them at the library and one of them at a local school.
Okay.
And I always started my players off with fifth edition because it's much easier to get into, much easier to learn. I started them off with that, and then the ones who felt like they wanted to go further and take it further, I took them over to Pathfinder to give them more rules, more things to bite their teeth into, more things to dig into if they want to find more cool things. Plus, it also gives me as a dungeon master, as a guy who controls the world and designs where things are and stuff. It gives me a lot more flexibility in what I throw against them. Because one of the big major things is in fifth edition you have monsters and that's it. There's the monsters. Uh, and in Pathfinder you have monsters and then you have a entire list of things you can do with them. For
Mm.
example, let's say you have a normal skeleton. Cool. I want to throw something more than a normal skeleton at them. So how about I do a dragon skeleton? Cool.
Okay.
But what if I want to do more? Yeah, cool. Well, let's do a fiendish dragon skeleton. How about we do a fiendish dragon skeleton with regeneration? It's like Legos. You just build more things on top of them,
Right.
and you can make everything unique.
And in D&D, you wouldn't be able to do that unless the creature was already built into it.
Not in fifth edition.
Okay.
3.5 you could, but in fifth edition they got rid of templates, which is what Pathfinder uses to do
Mm.
this.
Okay. Um, what or how long did it take you to go? Because I know no one starts out doing uh are playing the role of the dungeon master first. They play the game and then they get into it because that is the hardest role in the game.
It,
Uh,
it is. At least in Pathfinder, it is.
what got you interested? I mean, were you initially interested in going from just playing the game to being a dungeon master, or was it something that somebody said that you would be good at, or?
I started off playing with a group a while.
Hmm.
I started off playing with them and played for about a year on and off with different campaigns here and there. But my
Okay.
dungeon master could never stick to one story. He always wanted to swap stories all the time, and this frustrated me to no end because I wanted to be done with the story. I wanted to get to the end of the story at some point.
Right.
Uh, so I took it upon myself to create my own group where we actually would get through a story and get to the end of it. And so I've done that now for 8 years. I had a little bit of a break in the middle of like 2 years where I didn't run anything. But I've been on and off running campaigns for 8 years, and the last 2.5 years roughly, I've been running consistently games. I have a game now that's
Okay.
closing in on its conclusion. We've been running for two ish years now.
Okay. That's awesome. Uh, And how long did it take you to go from being like playing the for people that are interested? How long did it take you to go from playing the game to be comfortable enough to be a dungeon master?
It depends on the rule set you want to play. I know a lot of people who start off as dungeon master in fifth edition
Okay.
because fifth edition has made it very easy to run games. In fifth edition, as long as you have a little bit of money you can invest in, you can pretty much run a campaign for your friends. Even if you don't have money, if you have the ability to register online, you can run a couple of free campaigns, and you can run them for your friends without having to have any knowledge prior to it. Because there's something called this is in Pathfinder too, but it's in all of them. There's something called modules
Mm-hmm.
or playbooks. Um, Modules are basically a pre-constructed series of steps, pre-constructed story that you're supposed to bring people through, where the monsters are laid out, what they're supposed to be doing is laid out, the challenges are laid out, all of that stuff is laid out for you as a dungeon master, as a leader. So all you need to do is just read through the thing once, and then get your players in, arrange a time where everyone can play, and then react to what they do in the game based on what the module itself tells you.
Okay.
Uh,
And for anybody that was looking to get into either, would you recommend starting with Dungeons and Dragons over Pathfinder first, or
it depends on their experience with role playing systems in
okay,
general. Like if they played a lot of JRPGs, or if they're big fans of like Final Fantasy and stuff, they could easily start with either.
okay,
It might be easier to find a fifth edition game now because there's a lot more people playing it. But if you can find someone playing a Pathfinder game and you feel like you want a challenging experience, an experience that not only challenges your playstyle, but also challenges your ability to create interesting combinations and builds, then definitely try out Pathfinder. Find a good dungeon master, one that has a little bit of experience, and have some fun. If you don't have a good dungeon master, try out a one shot or two. There's the one I can recommend that's really easy. You get pre-made characters, and it's a whole lot of blast. It's called We Be Goblins.
okay.
The entire campaign revolves around a group of four goblins, uh, and your goal is to travel to some place and get fireworks. It's super entertaining and really fun.
Sounds like a World of Warcraft scenario. Um,
Yeah.
so with we kind of alluded to this earlier on that there are a lot of games who implement the D&D system, especially in
Mhm.
terms for combat and abilities and customization and stuff like that. The one I know that's the most prevalent example is KOTOR. Are there
Mhm.
any others that you know that really implement the system?
The game I grew a lot of my channel on is based completely around the Pathfinder system. And technically, I would, if you want to get into the Pathfinder system but you can't find a group, I would recommend the game Pathfinder Kingmaker. It
Okay.
is a video game version of the Pathfinder rules, slightly simplified, but it uses the same feat system, the same class system, the same race system with race skill traits and all that stuff. You level up your skill points and all that stuff like you do in Pathfinder, the tabletop version. And it's got a really interesting and gripping story, a story that will make you play for a very long time. It also feels really, really fluent, and it recently, I believe, released on PlayStation and Xbox, so you can play the console versions of them, which have an implemented turn-based mod if you want to play turn-based instead of real time.
One of the games I just remembered, one of the games that I loved growing up, that our game series that I loved growing up, that was the D&D Pathfinder system was Shadowrun. Um, and you can find those
Yes,
games
indeed.
on Steam now, and I would highly recommend checking them out if you haven't played them before. Um, they're
EverQuest 2, by the way, they were also very heavily
EverQuest
inspired.
was?
Hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Friggin' EverQuest. Oh God, that was my original MMO. I played that, and I'll never forget. I was a necromancer, and there was no level
I
cap.
believe, if I'm not mistaken, the developer said he was inspired by D&D Second Edition when he started creating the campaign.
Okay. Uh, in in EverQuest, I started out as a necromancer, and I I'll never forget there was I was one of the Iskal, and
Mm.
the or sorry, Iskal is Remnant, Ixal is EverQuest, um, and I was one of the Ixal and the the lizards, and there was on their continent. There was a giant open plain area with a windmill, and I went there, and there was a high level necromancer who's like, I don't really like this character anymore. Does anybody want this gear? And there was no level cap on gear at the moment. They just figured that gear was so hard to get that a high level character was going to give it to another tune, um, or uh, guilds would only give it to guild mates, etc., etc. No one was going to give it to anybody random.
Nah.
Well, that turned out not to be the case, and I got all this like level 50 gear. I was level like 6. I got all this level 50 gear for free. I had a a chalice that it would randomly heal you on proc of damage, and it would heal me for about 8 times the amount of health I actually had. And so I basically just never died. I ran around with a chalice and a dagger as a necromancer. I never cast any spells. I just started poking things to death. Um, but yeah, I absolutely adore that game. Okay, let's get back. Definitely want to talk about this stuff, but let's get back to with streaming and stuff like that. As a streamer, what kind of you said that you had originally done this for a while. What was your initial interest in streaming?
um, I don't know. I've always enjoyed the couch co-op of things.
Okay.
I used to often invite people over to play Pokemon together or play Mario Kart and that kind of stuff. And I really felt that streaming was part of the. It felt like I had people around me, so I wasn't just playing games alone anymore. I could play games and we could hang out and chat, and I always wanted that feeling of basically having people around me while I play, people to interact with and stuff. And even if we don't play games that are necessarily co-op or anything, it was the feeling of having someone there, not just being alone all the time.
Okay, I gotcha. Uh, and we share that, you know, together that sense of community, um, and friendship is kind of one of the driving points of streaming and having a community and all, or a Discord and having a connected group of people. Um, and so uh, I definitely, yeah, I'm sorry, Adi, I don't know how to update that. I don't know anything about my own stream. Um, completely helpless. You know, I'm like a duck that never learned how to swim. I, I imprinted on a person and I never learned how to swim. Um, but I I definitely um oh yeah. That's who we're so. Hi Llama, fancy meeting you here.
Hi,
Um,
my name is Daisy.
um, I uh I absolutely love that about Twitch, that community aspect of everything. What were some of the
That's actually that's actually one of the reasons why I went to your channel in the first place. Like, I got linked here by Impulsive, one person that's already in your community.
mhm.
Uh, and the reason I stuck around was because this community, and I won't say this to all of you guys in chat at the moment, people here have kept me here. Because even if I'm not always chatting, often around, uh, just to see the chat flowing and the love that gets shared from this community, and uh, all the people here just having a good time. There was a couple of days, and I think I messaged you about it too. I had a really shit time for a while, uh, and I often logged on here just to hang out with you guys, because I felt it was helping me um, cope easier to see people just have fun and enjoy themselves.
Well, and that's awesome to hear. As I've told um, numerous people, um, I am not a licensed therapist or anything like that, but I'm a firm believer that, for people who have depression, anxiety, and all that, there is the medical side of things, but then there is life outside of that. And
Mhm.
having stressful situations, yes, it helps to have, professional opinions sometimes, and I go to a therapist myself, but it also helps to have a community. If you have, oh, sorry, I thought Mama Yum was sending me. I was like, oh God, what's on fire? Um, if uh, if if you have a place to go, a community, people to talk with, people to hang out with, a chat to go to, then that's as imperative as any, in my opinion, as imperative as any, um, professional help or anything like that. It's not a substitute for it, but
No,
my own therapist would even say that, while it's not a substitute for it, it is a huge complement to, like if you hang out with toxic people all day and then you go and talk about those toxic people in a therapy session, what are you really gaining from a mental health standpoint? You have to start making
I
changes.
I fully agree, like massively. And I've always wanted my channel and the channels I hang out with to be channels where people care about each other, not just the streamer, not just the games being played, but each other. That it's a knitted community where people care how your days were. People don't just ask like, oh yeah, well, how are you doing? They actually mean it. They're actually interested in you, how you're doing with your day and the things you're up to. Because I feel like that's what builds a good, not just community, but a good friendship between people. And
Yeah.
as I said, your community really does this well, and I really appreciate it.
Well, and I can't take, the credit. I've been blessed to have amazing people stop by and hang around, So it's not all on me. It's, you guys, you, Llama, and everybody in chat who makes it a wonderful place. Like I said, yeah, big heart. Um, we've, we've been very blessed that aside from, I think, two or three times a random troll will come in, I just haven't had an issue with it, and it just everybody here has been super awesome. So, thank you all so much. That's not the end of the interview. I know it sounds like when I'm like, yeah, thank you all, bye. Just click. I can't can't do this any
Bye
better.
guys.
Yeah, but
Bye.
yeah, randomly. Sponsored by XSplit. No, but
Yes, yep, yep.
the random
I'm
water.
actually not. I think you pay them and think,
Yeah.
fuck that.
Um, yeah, trolls are a given with Twitch, and the more you grow as a streamer, the more they'll uh uh. Okay, well, Cap, before you leave, we'll do that question real quick. We usually do a Q&A at the end. All right, Llama, what's better, Shrek or Megamind?
Ooh, Mega Man is in the movie.
And yeah, and then the Shrek
Oh, I
series.
really, really like Megamind. I think it's hit so many good points that yeah, I will rewatch it many times. It's very unique in how it works. Like Shrek's cool and all, but Megamind really hit that special kind of interest for me. So I will have to go with Megamind.
Okay, did you hear that, Cat? Um, and sorry your Wi-Fi is not working, buddy. We're gonna do Community Day later on though, so don't worry, you haven't missed it. Um, but getting back to the streaming aspects of things, when did you decide to start taking it, and I'm not saying that you didn't in the beginning, but when did you start taking it more seriously in terms of investing, like you said, with YouTube, you were investing editing skills into it. You've gotten, different equipment. Um, oh, Cat, hang on. This is this is him. Yep, we all three did it at the same time. Okay, cool. Uh,
Everyone.
and then someone randomly is like, "Yeah, I followed that awesome dude. Yeah, yeah." It's like, who was that? Nightbot. Um, no, Nightbot. It's not Night. Um, but yeah, I definitely I definitely am not saying that you didn't take it seriously in the beginning. But yeah, when did things kind of start to culminate to where you were like, okay, I want to move forward with this?
Actually, speaking about that, I actually started doing more editing and learning editing skills and that kind of stuff when I started making political comedy.
Okay.
I took a lot of because I saw a lot of dumb stuff going around, a lot of completely false things being said. So I took a lot of them, edited them together, and just had fun with it, and made some fun back and forth. Never really taking much of a side, just messing around, having some fun. And I invested a lot of my time into learning the editing stuff for that. Um, and as I said, I got into bad communities with it, so I
Mm.
stopped the that part of it, but kept my interest in making videos and making people laugh and um, having people around to just have fun with. And uh, if I can make people laugh, that just makes my day. Uh, just having people have a good time around me, that's the best thing I can have.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. And I know a ton of people in this community that stream. That's their number one goal is to make sure everybody has a good time. And some people do that more with comedy. Some people do that more with not just integrating humor, but more one-on-one conversations. Some people do that with, high-level competitive gameplay. I mean, if some people really get engrossed in a game at a high level, and I'm not going to say it's fun to watch them get angry, but it's kind of fun to watch them get it.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's
Kind of
kind of
fun.
a little bit, little bit. Um,
I do that sometimes too when I play Rocket League. I get a little bit salty, just a little bit.
little, a little bit. Um,
I do sometimes during Fall Guys too. If someone like if I get ragdolled out of out of existence, I'm like, quit. I'm done.
yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'll see you all next time, and
Um,
you all can go to hell. um, what what have been your aside from making sure that people have had a good time, what have been some of your personal goals with streaming? Let's start with personal goals that you've
my
been able to meet.
I actually had a couple
Select.
personal goals that were met mostly by really generous and kind people. I wanted to unlock more emotes, and
Mhm.
one of my friends, a great friend from America, he almost single handedly got me up to 50 subscribers just so I could unlock my emotes. Um, and that was a great goal for me because it allowed me to now put in a lot of cool emotes and do some hot swapping with emotes and giving something back to the community, but like none other than like earning things or doing things at all. One of the things that I really feel like I've achieved is I've achieved a group of people that now, without me even doing anything, they're currently like arranging game nights, and they're arranging times where they play together, play different games and stuff. And every time I log on, like after I've been to work or something, I log on, I see it in the looking for party chat. There's someone who's been looking for friends and playing with people and stuff. And I see that they matched up with someone. Oh, that just makes me feel really nice, really happy because it's like that 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 makes me feel like I've actually created a community of people that now interact with each other and play with each other. Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah, no, and again, we share that exact same sentiment. I mean, I absolutely love to hear that different people have gone to different or each other's discords, and or that they added each other after a community day. Um, and it's I don't know. Uh, oh, that's awesome, Dyslexian.
I've actually done a lot of that stuff too. Dyslexia. Um, I'm gonna make sure I give you a follow. I have a tendency of trying to rate people who are below 50 to get them up to affiliate. I've done it with 4 people so far and gotten them up to affiliate,
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
uh, a bunch of them have already like they've surpassed me. They're much better streamers than me, much more entertaining streamers than me, and I just love watching their growth throughout. One of them is I think his name is Sitzilander. Super cool dude, super chill. I found him once. He had like I don't know, like 20 something followers. I just boosted him with like a couple of 10, 15 followers, and he's been just growing massively. And he's so entertaining. He deserves so much love. I'm gonna see if I can do the same with you, Dyslexia, and see if I can get you up at least up to to affiliate.
That's awesome.
I
I
love
yeah,
doing that.
I,
It's so nice.
I think one of the things that has always kind of again been a pet peeve or annoyance of mine is when people become and thankfully I haven't seen it um, in my community or any of my friends communities. um, but I see people talk on Twitter, and which Twitter's its own nightmare in certain aspects. But I've seen people talk about or express jealousy when somebody outgrows them, or when somebody that they used to be or that used to be in their community goes off and does their own thing. Listen, life tip:
Yep.
give without the expectation of receiving, and you will go much farther in life and be infinitely happier. Do something because you genuinely want to help somebody or you want to make somebody happy, and you will cease being disappointed. It's when people.
Speaking of that,
Oh,
actually,
go ahead.
I've had a lot of fun during my last D&D sessions because after my D&D sessions, I usually have between 7 and 15 people just sitting around chilling. And I always love going through like the D&D or Pathfinder series and finding people with no viewers, like maybe 2 or 3 viewers, and just sending them a whole bunch of them and just seeing how happy they get. Oh, it's so fun. I had one guy that I keep raiding now every time I do my Saturday campaign. He's always on. And I raid him, and every time he's like, "Hey!" It's so good. Oh, I love that stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do stuff like I said, do stuff for the pure joy of giving unto others or making people happy, and I think you will be. And I'm not just speaking with you; I'm speaking with everybody. I think you will be, much more happy in life. I think so many people they invest time and energy into people expecting like it's a stock market or something, like expecting a monumental return or something like. This is not how you approach people, in my opinion. And I'm always happy for everybody's success and everything that everybody's doing, because at the end of the day, not only do I genuinely care about people, but I care about people's dreams. And if your dream is to become a professional streamer or to grow your stream, like I want you to achieve that dream, because God knows, uh, you know, outside in the real world, is my some of my family members, not Mama Yon, but other people always thought, well, in the real world, you can't just play video games and, get subscribers and stuff like that. I'm like,
Technically, you can.
yeah, I was like, well, at first I'm like, don't you get the bar fights over sports? you know
Yeah,
you're not the
exactly.
you know you're not the player, right? You know that you're not the team. You know that you're not the like you have no actual bearing in this whatsoever. Um, but at any rate, there's so much negativity and people saying you can't do something that I don't like that BS. I don't like that nonsense. I truly believe I've seen so many people succeed in different aspects of their life if they just put the effort and the consistency. So I will never say that somebody can or can't do
I
something.
actually think a little bit of the expecting to get something back has to do with a lack of humility, a lack of knowing that not you don't always have to do something to get something back. Like you don't have to do that at all. Um, because a lot of it is just doing to do, doing to make people happy, doing to because people want to give back to people who are kind. At least from what I've found, people always want to give back to the ones who they consider kind. So if you're a person that they will just look up to, people always give back to that person. And even if they don't, you giving to them creates happiness. And if we can create more happiness, that's all that matters. Because that's a net gain in the end.
Yeah, and I think the world needs far more attitudes like that, because I mean it's just a free for all anymore. I always I don't laugh, but I always find it interesting when people say things like, especially with like the COVID issue,
Mm.
people will say, "Can you believe people won't social distance or won't wear masks?" And I'm sitting there thinking of, been driving since I was 16 years old, and how many times somebody's just been bumper to bumper to me when you're supposed to be this far apart, was it 30, 35 feet apart or something like that, and they're like bumper to bumper. I'm like, you haven't met too many people. Like it's not as big of a shock if you actually, think about what the way people. I mean, I've worked in restaurants and I've seen the way that people behave and stuff like that, and yeah, I mean, I remember um, this one couple uh, went and they took up a table for God like 2 hours, something like that, and all they got was chips, like the chips and salsa for free, and like I think they got like 2 beers each, and they didn't even tip. So, you know, there's stuff like that is, you know, it's super unfortunate. I hate it when it happens, but it doesn't surprise me. That's why I strive to surround myself with people who are striving to put happiness in the world, put positivity in the world, because I've just seen too much of the other side that what's the saying? Be the change you want to see. Well,
Yes,
that's kind
yes,
of the
indeed.
attitude that I've transitioned to, because I wasn't always like that. I was never the absolute most selfish person, but I openly admit that I was a person that was very isolated, and I had been burned so many times that I just didn't want to invest in anything emotionally anymore. And then I realized that the people I called friends, that was not the normal side of things, and that actual true friends and people that care about you, that's what this is over here. And once I experienced that, um, in no small part thanks to Twitch, and the people that I met on here, once I experienced that, I was like, oh, okay. So these are actual friends. This is actual community and family. And, now I can't get enough of it. I think it's awesome. So, um, let's see here real quick. Um, hey, welcome back, Corky. How's it going again, brother? And Dragon, I'm losing more and more weight. So uh, if I can find a purple dragon onesie that I can fit into, I will definitely get that, brother. Uh,
Soon.
yeah,
Get a llama once, eh?
get a lava onesie. Oh, I'll absolutely. I should have. The thing is, I agree, Dyslexian. The thing is about the llama onesie is that there's so many onesies that are like they didn't have the size, but I could have used them, but they didn't have like the right size. So
Hmm.
um, fat people wear onesies too. Um, you know, I uh, I definitely um want to have like an entire like wardrobe of just onesies at some point. As I said in a tweet or something like that, I was like, I can't believe I get to put pajamas down as a tax write-off. Um, you know,
You do?
yeah.
That's,
Oh yeah.
that's amazing, man.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, yeah. This is a business expense. Um, like, what do you
I
do?
wish I could do that.
What do you do? I wear a bunny onesie and I wrote it off on taxes. Um, but uh, yeah, we coincide so much with that, and that's why you know, absolutely love you being here and getting to interact with you. Um,
I'm glad we finally got to have the interview. We've been
yes, I'm
postponing it for
sorry.
like a month by now.
I'm sorry. I feel bad. I trust me.
No, no, no. It's a okay.
I
I would
do.
have said it's okay if I hadn't been like if I hadn't meant that it's okay.
Um, let's see. A lot of the world negatively have been a very hard year for a lot of us. It's okay. You know what? I think it will, Corky. I mean, we look at all the tragedies that have happened throughout human history, um, and I'm sure people in the Great Depression, I'm sure people in um, World, World War II, 1940s. I'm sure all those people, thought that humanity couldn't get any worse, couldn't get any lower, and it turned around. So, you know, hoping and striving for positivity and just being good to each other, I think you'll make a very good change in the world. Um, But going forward, what are some of your future plans with streaming?
Um, first of all, I have to arrange everything with my new job.
Okay.
I just got promoted to a 95%
Congratulations.
position, which is the highest I can get. Thank you. It's the highest I can get at the current job I'm working at, which is really cool. It's gonna come with a bigger pay, so I'm gonna be able to support myself fully of my day job,
Awesome.
so I can focus on getting a full system down, a schedule, what I do when, and I actually have another D&D campaign that's opening up very soon.
Okay.
I have 3 players already, so I just need a fourth player for that campaign. It's going to be a paid campaign at some point. However, we're running the first couple of sessions completely free, so everyone can test out the system and have fun with it. But it's going to be the Grand Fund campaign, the Grandia plus Pathfinder campaign. It's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to signing up because the entire story, while it's based the Grandia, it is
Oh.
a complete homebrew in terms of how we progress, what challenges there are, and all that stuff. That's completely homebrewed, all of it. I think we just disconnected.
Okay.
No,
Uh,
okay.
yeah.
You're just having an internet issue.
Yeah. Is it? Wait, wait, wait. Uh-oh. Making sure.
I think we're live again.
Okay. It looks like. Okay. All right. Technical difficulties. Um, hang on. Let me adjust the antenna. There we go. Okay.
I think we're good. Yep.
um,
Good, good.
okay. And how would people, if somebody was interested in joining, how would somebody get a hold of you to join the Discord or?
You either get in contact with me on Discord. I am in the Yonimaze Discord, so you can get in contact with me there under Sceptic Llama. Or you can get in contact with me on my channel and talk to me there. Uh, Either way, just get in contact with me somehow, and we'll make sure we talk and get introductions and all that stuff.
Okay. Awesome. What future games are you looking to play too?
I'm currently waiting for Baldur's Gate 3 to come out.
Oh,
As soon as
okay.
that one comes out, I'm gonna pick it up, and I want to play it so badly. It looks so cool.
Yeah, it does. Um, all right. Well, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to get to Q&A. So we answered
Mhm.
cats earlier, but if anybody has any questions for Llama, um, go ahead and type them in the chat. Um, and I have a question in the meantime while people are typing and stuff like that. Um, what has been your favorite? Given a summary of it, what has been your favorite D&D campaign that you've done?
Ooh. That I've done, that I'm completed with, or
Yes,
that I've ran so
that
far.
that you've done completed.
Hmm. I think it must be my first completion of a campaign uh, with the library.
Okay.
I We ran the Tomb of Annihilation, which is a really difficult campaign for beginners. But I told them as we started up that I'm gonna be very hands on from the start,
Okay.
and then as soon as we get to the last dungeon in the game, I'm basically gonna go, Jesus, take the wheel. Now you guys have fun.
Okay.
So I'm gonna run it as the book says and see how many times we die. And the end part, the last 3 sessions were super intense. We had to go save one of our players from the positive energy realm, creating an entire scenario around like them plane jumping to different planes and experiencing these massive, powerful creatures, and only to come back to the reality that they were in and defeat this massive ass boss that had been draining, well, spoiling too much, that had been draining things from everywhere and like just getting stronger and stronger. And as soon as we ended off and got outside again, outside of the tomb, which I hadn't seen for a long time, I got to tell them the fruits of their labor, that things felt better, that the the oppressive nature that had been in the entire area had lifted. but something was off. And then I could drop them off on this massive cliffhanger of the continuation of the story going forward, which is a complete custom continuation. Oh, it was amazing. Everyone was so happy after we finished it off, and they were like, "Can we play more? Is there more?" It was great.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely recommend going to the channel and dropping a follow, Corky, and definitely checking out when he does these. They're really, really interesting. I lurk most of the time because not knowing exactly what's happening, I can't really give any commentary. Um, but they're definitely interesting to watch. Um,
Speaking of my D&D streams right now, I've implemented a bunch of things with my channel points recently, where by using your channel points, you can add things to my campaigns.
oh,
So
that's
you can
awesome.
add in custom NPCs, and you can name NPCs. You can give out items to players. You can give them a surprise of sorts, and basically you can interact with the stream by just using your channel points.
That's awesome. I really, really like that. And Dyslexia wants to know what is your favorite color?
Oh, I love green.
Okay.
Dark green is really nice, like the earthy kind of like late summer grass green. Oh,
Um, the point of the carpet. Um,
oh, yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, like the dark part in the back.
yeah.
Oh, that's a nice color.
Um, so,
I have the chat there, so you just pointed to the chat, and I was like, huh?
oh, I got you. I got you. I got you. Got you. Um, what as far as campaigns though, what's one of the ones that you're currently so you can even summon things in? Oh yeah, that yeah,
Yes. For 9,000 channel points, I believe, you can give them a permanent, like, magical item that can either be beneficial or non-beneficial to the party, depending on what you want to create. So you just create a magical item or find one that's already created, and I'll weave it into the story somehow, and make sure that they get it.
that's
You can
awesome.
also, with the surprise, you can also be like, I want to surprise them with, let's say, the monster in the next room. He discovers that they're here. Could you just send him over to surprise them? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. He's coming over. I'll move him over now.
I wanted to control Jan's beard, but he simply said no. I will take that back at some point, but let me have my happiness for right now. Um, okay. Does anybody have any more questions? Everybody, just a moment. And let's do another shout out while we're doing that. Was it interview? Is that the command? Okay, Pog. Um, I feel like the Jeopardy thing should be do do.
I
Um,
feel like we're. I think we're also a little bit delayed. I can see the stream inside here, and we're slightly delayed there. I
oh
think.
yeah. What's your favorite dog breed?
Oh, easy. I love the golden retrievers.
Oh,
They're
okay.
such good family dogs. I think it's because I grew up in a very tight knit kind of like community, I guess. It's a
Hmm.
lot of people living very close, and they used to have dogs that I used to go walk with, and one of them was this golden retriever that was super well trained all the time. I used to bring him to the forest and take off the leash and just let him run around and have fun. And he always came back every time, as long as you mentioned his name, he came back. I also made it sit, and then run off and hid somewhere, and then called for it, and it will come and find me in the forest. And it was just such a nice dog and very well trained.
Yeah, I know that I wasn't necessarily asked, but throwing mine out there, I absolutely love Huskies. Although I've heard that they are a high
They look
bundle of
really cool.
energy. 83k
Lots of
points now worthless. It's not worthless. I will turn it back on. I will turn it back on.
feel rain man.
Oh my god.
Is it the shave the beard?
Yeah.
It's only 100,000. I can do that.
No, no, no. It's I will um
You can have my 6,000 points if you want, and I'll just share them with you.
Well, I was thinking of doing the beard thing as like a community channel point thing,
I
and
see.
then increasing it. But I don't know. No, no, Dragon, keep your points. Okay, keep your points. Um, you will be able to use them here soon. I promise. I just wanted to keep the beard for a little longer. Okay.
I like beards.
Yeah, yeah. Pull the points together. Um, but I guess if nobody else had any questions, I guess we'll go ahead and start to wrap things up. Was there anything that you wanted to add before we kind of close things out?
Um, yeah, just be awesome, everyone. Have a good rest of the evening, and there's community stream is that later on today.
Uh, yes. At we're gonna do 7:30.
Cool. Then definitely, guys, come back and hang out for community stream, do some cool stuff, and if you want to check out me at some point, if you're interested in D&D or just want to chill out with a community for a bit, or you're bored and need something in the background, then definitely come by and do that. But definitely stick around and just have some fun in the community today, and uh, overall, just have a great day, everyone. Okay, just take some time for yourselves, eat some cool stuff, drink some water. Important.
Yeah,
Have a good day.
and I have absolutely nothing to add. I completely agree with all of that. So as is tradition, yeah, 7:30 EST. As is tradition, we are going to let the guest, if they're not streaming, we're going to let them pick who we raid.
Hmm. Oh, can we rate a good friend of mine?
Sure, if you want to
He's
type their
currently
name.
playing. He's currently playing Fall Guys, and I usually play with him, and he's a really chill dude. I must type name in.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, Gabriel said forgot to ask about the pickles.
Oh, yeah, you did.
What are the pickles that he's referring to?
Well, I will show. So I have jars of pickles standing by. One of my channel point redeems, because I am a glutton for torture, is to redeem that I eat a slice of pickle, and it's relatively cheap. So people often make me eat 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, up to 100 pickle slices in a row, and it can get rather disgusting.
So you're not a
Um,
fan of pickles?
oh, I like pickles, but not 100 in a row.
Oh, okay,
There's
okay.
a difference. There's a limit to how many pickles I can eat.
He's like the limit is
Um,
22. Like oddly specific.
yes, yeah. So one of the things we did is we had a little bit of a donation incentive while I was doing one of my character creation campaigns. Um, and we ended up reaching the donation goal, uh, which ended up with me having to drink 2 jars worth of pickle juice straight.
Whew.
Uh, I almost didn't make it through. That was
Oh.
horrible.
Mm. Well,
Oh, it was so bad.
your digestive system is cast iron.
I
Um,
I have a leaden belly, but that was almost too much. That night was not fun.
all right, my chat's trying to. They're like peppers. Can you do peppers?
If you can get me some pickled peppers, I will fucking love to do that. I actually have, now I don't have them right now. They have something called silver onion, which is like tiny onions that are also pickled.
Hmm.
I love pickled anything basically. So I have this is a secret to you guys. This don't tell anyone yet. I have a secret that's coming up. I have a jar standing around that's currently working. It's getting ready. It's a jar of um pickled garlic. I'm gonna add it in as a like um super spicy one because they're like pure garlics, and they're gonna be. I've never tasted one like straight up. I have a feeling they're gonna be horrible, and I'm so ready to just bring it out one day. Like, yeah, today we're doing pickled garlics. If you want to make me puke, this is the time to do it.
Oh my god. Uh, no, just pepper and hot sauce to wash it. My god, Drake.
Hey, I actually don't mind spicy stuff at all. I have a vodka sitting in the fridge that's literally a California Reaper vodka.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
vodka brewed on the California Reaper, and when you drink it, you start hiccuping. Basically, well, I start hiccuping because I can't handle that much heat.
Yeah, my acid reflux would kill me. But all right. Well, my chat is now enthusiastic about D&D and peppers. So we have accomplished
I'm
everything
okay.
we needed to do. All
Yes,
right. So
you
we're
are.
gonna go ahead and start the raid countdown. I'm gonna grab some food with Mama Yan. Whether I wear the bunny suit out in public or not is yet
Do
to be
it.
determined.
Say it
Um,
your work suit.
I mean, I will. I don't know what you think I won't. I absolutely will. um, but all right, so we are going to um, host one of Skeptic's friends. Um, Everybody, please check out Llama. He is an absolute sweetheart human being and an amazing friend of the community, family, Yonner family, and many other families too on Twitch here that we are also all friends with, from Impulsive Veins to Syx to um, Mario. I mean, the list goes on and on to Amber Moons. The list goes on and on. So please check him out. Um, Again, day here in about an hour, and then we will have another interview with Shades of Nate at 10 p.m. So hopefully you all get to stop back by for that. If not, the VOD will be up, as will this one, until Twitch has it expire. So with that being said, to sum up everything, be good to each other, much love, and we will catch you here in just a little bit. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
And then we will. Oh, I think it already ended. Yep. That delay gets me every time.